as Assistant U.S. Attorney in Washington and Nashville, and he is currently a criminal defense lawyer. Explain that position. You don't think he should sit down?
Sure.
A lot of people are saying that, but do you think he can be forced to do so?
Good afternoon, Melissa. I don't think he should voluntarily. He may be forced to at some point if Mueller were to pursue a grand jury subpoena and go that route. There is case law from the Watergate era that would require the president to sit for a grand jury interview if he was compelled to do so. So that may be the path we end up in a few months.
What do you make of the president's latest comments that we heard this morning as he came out and he seemed to undercut what Rudy Giuliani had just said?
I think the first piece to realize in all of this is if I'm representing someone or I'm prosecuting someone, you look at this and just see it's a complete mess. As a legal strategy, the first point should be don't let your lawyers make things worse. And it's pretty clear that Rudy made things worse. As like
Wait,
the
let me
president's
stop you there, though.
Back.
Is it clear that he made things worse? I mean, because people were assuming that what happened was, you know, when they went in and raided Michael Cohen's office, that they found evidence that President Trump had either repaid him or had paid him. The money had come from him. So the idea was that Rudy Giuliani came out and sort of got that fact out there into the open before the other side said, ta-da, and sort of brought it out as something damning.
That's really creative, and I'm sure some Republicans on Capitol Hill want to spin that. But no, I mean, it was a complete bumbling of everything. He admitted to probably 2 felonies. Even the way that Rudy described it being done is problematic for a number of reasons.
What were the 2 felonies?
Well, so first of all, the question is, why are there small amounts? Was this structuring? Were they trying to avoid currency reporting requirements and the repayment from President Trump to Michael Cohen? And second, the payment of personal funds and the hiding of that from the FEC, from the Federal Election Commission to do what was done here for hush money is exactly what John Edwards was indicted for and charged with almost a decade ago. You can't do that.
So if he says that it was part of a retainer?
Well, I mean, I could say it's a birthday present. It doesn't make it true. I mean, what's very clear is the president used Mr. Cohen as a pass-through to get these funds to make somebody quiet in the context of a campaign, and the purpose of our campaign finance disclosures is to let the public know what you're spending money on. And here, if he's spending money, ironically, if he told the public, hey, I'm going to pay this woman off, it wouldn't be a violation. You can't hide it. You can't lie about it to the American public.
It seemed like, though, the comment about we're going to put out a document soon so that you can see exactly who I paid for what, which is a terrible idea. But that's going to really make things so much worse.
It is, but at this point, it's sort of what idea do you have left? I mean, it's really grasping at straws here. They've let this go down a terrible road, and now it's in cleanup mode. And sometimes when you clean up, you don't have a lot of good options.
So what would be the best option now at this point, do you think? Just totally shut up and try and move on?
I think there's 2 separate things, and I think the congressman before, I think, conflated them. The Cohen investigation is separate from the Mueller-Russian investigation. Cohen is specifically Southern District of New York. It's being run out of that office. And I think the White House approach to that should be, look, we're not indicted. We're not involved. Michael Cohen was doing things. And sure, there may have been some payments, but we did everything according to what our lawyer, Michael Cohen, told us was appropriate. You know, a legal defense strategy that says, I relied on my lawyer may, get the president out of trouble.
But you said he's conflating 2 things. What was the other thing?
Well, the fact that these are not connected. Mueller is not driving the Cohen investigation. There's different prosecutors on the case. It's a whole different investigative team before different judges. And so to say that they're somehow, that's outside the scope of Mueller's investigation, what is, but Mueller's not involved. That's why it's outside the scope. That's why New York is handling it.
But I think the feeling from some people is that investigation in the Southern District was sparked with the idea of snaring the president, and that whatever evidence they're trying to squeeze out of that is really at the behest of Bob Mueller. You think that's totally unfair?
I think that is unfair. I mean, you have some prosecutors who have been there for life, who've worked under Republicans and Democrats, who are definitely in the most prestigious office in the Department of Justice doing that job. And I think they'd take this case no matter who the president was if there was an admissions like the admissions we've had publicly in this case.
All right, Alex Little, thanks for your insight. Good stuff.